Republican Mayra Flores now represents the people in her district of 34. So we're watching, we're listening all of this together. I take it that Representative Cuellar is trying, because he says he is, but he's not succeeding. What's going on with Democrats in Texas right now? Particularly, what's your reaction to him?
Well, we're sick and tired of this administration acting like this humanitarian crisis is not happening. And we're really frustrated because this isn't just a South Texas problem. We need all sanctuary cities to step up and help us with the influx of immigrants crossing illegally into our country. We have thousands of people coming in every single day. We have women and children that have been through abuse, that have been through rape as well in this dangerous journey that the Biden administration continues to encourage. And this madness must stop. We're asking the Biden administration to come to South Texas, to come and see what his policies have done to us in South Texas and what it's doing to our country as well, because it's not just the influx of people coming in, it's also fentanyl coming into our country, killing our youth, the future of this country.
Representative Flores, how, and Henry Cuellar is a more conservative, at times, Democrat, but how are they even leading on this issue at all in any of the states? How are they congresspeople? I mean, you hear him talking there. What would you say to him?
It's clear that the Biden administration doesn't care about South Texas, doesn't even care about what Henry Cuellar is saying. That should be a sign to Henry Cuellar that he should no longer be supporting the Democrat Party, that doesn't even care to hear his cries and his concerns that he has for his own district. And he should have stepped away from the party that no longer represents us in South Texas.
I don't know if you can see some of this video, but Cuellar and other Democrats have said, well, you know, we want to leave things open for people to come here legally. We are being overwhelmed. They know that there's no barrier, there's nothing there. There is a legal process already. There is. And if people wanted to follow it, they wouldn't just be the give-ups on the other side of the river. You represent District 34. It has 85% majority Hispanic population, a place that was Democrat for 100 years until you flipped it red. Now, new polling shows that Biden and Democrats are losing ground among Hispanic voters. Is this issue playing any kind of a role?
Absolutely it is. I immigrated to this country. I was blessed to come here to the United States legally. But I will tell you that the immigration is broken. We do need to improve the legal process. It takes 15 to 20 years to be able to come here to the United States. I was blessed to have a father that was an American citizen that was able to bring me legally to the United States. But I believe that we must secure the borders, but we also do need to improve the legal process. We need to hire more immigration judges, more asylum officers, so we can process these claims, because the majority, unfortunately, are not real legitimate asylum claims, and we need to be able to help those who actually do have a legitimate asylum claim. And I believe that by us focusing on legal immigration and improving the legal process, we will bring down this humanitarian crisis. But again, it's the policies. We can hire more Border Patrol agents. We can have, you know, a wall. We can have technology. But if we don't enforce the laws, nothing matters. We need to start enforcing the laws that we already put in place, that Congress put in place. We need to also put back the policies that were working before this administration, because what's happening in South Texas is because of the Biden administration. And it is time that we do something about this, in other states like California and New York step up.
I think about two groups of people in Texas, and I can only imagine your constituents saying to you, we're spending taxpayer money, billions of dollars now in Texas, to do what the federal government refuses to do, to make sure that those Border Patrol agents, Texas DPS, and others are ready there. The National Guard members who went out with us at 1:30 in the morning. I mean, all of that has to be paid for. I can't imagine people want their tax dollars spent that way, but I can't imagine what would happen if it weren't spent that way.
Exactly. We're using millions and millions of local resources. We are at max capacity. We can't handle this anymore. The people of Bronzeville, for example, are struggling to pay their light bill. Their light bill just tripled. Their light bill went from $300 to $900. They're struggling to pay their utility bills, their groceries. All my district right now is struggling, but yet we're focused on the humanitarian crisis and not able to help the American people, the people that elected us to be in the position that we're in. And that is why it's so important for us to secure the border, for us to be able to focus on the districts that we represent. These are the people that elected us, and it is time that we put them first.
There you go. And that was my second point. How unfair is it to the people like yourself and others who've come here legally? Have to put people first who are willing to follow our laws. Representative Mayra Flores, I know you are up against another competition this November. Good luck to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.